Okay, so what are your non-negotiables? So these are things in your life. These are rituals. These are times. These are events. Whatever it is that are sacred to you, that are very important to you, and they are not negotiable. So right. So nobody can tell you not to do them. Nothing interrupts it. It's just going to happen no matter what. And for me, I've got two at the moment. So my non-negotiables are that Monday, Tuesday are my work days. They do not get interrupted no matter what, right? There's no appointments, no coffee catch-ups, no friends, phone calls that interrupt my work. I just get stuff done. And that is because I've got two young children and only one of them does daycare 3 days a week. My partner also works. So that there's stuff that we have to do during the week. And my work is very important to me. I need to do it in order to earn money for the household, particularly this type of work, because I want to have an impact. I want to help people. So for me, it's very important. My other non-negotiable is that I turn my screens and everything off at 8 o'clock and I'm in bed before 9:30, right? That's like, journaled. I've done my shower, shave routine. Not that I shave. And I'm in bed before 9:30. So what are yours, right? What's so important to you that you cannot negotiate with anybody else? So here's the reality of my non-negotiables. Monday, Tuesday doesn't fucking work, right? I've been having my psych appointments every 2 weeks on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I'll often get called away from work in order to help my wife with things around the house. I do take phone calls. I've got people that want to catch up for coffees and Monday, Tuesdays, the day they can do it. I have other things I have to do like administration, something to do with my car or some other work thing, or I get taken away from it. And then the sleep thing, even just last night, I was down here until about 10:30. I filmed one video, scheduled one post, and then fucked around for about an hour on the laptop. So those are my non-negotiables. Now, the reason that my Mondays and Tuesdays are not as sacred as I would like is because I also have a life. And like I said, I've got two young children. Only one of them goes to daycare 3 days a week. And my wife also has a job and we still need to do things and we still need to go to appointments, do administration, take care of stuff. There are normal distractions, sicknesses, injuries, appointments, whatever it is. In terms of the bedtime, it's the same shit, right? Sometimes if I don't get things done during the day, I'll do it at night. I'll fuck around with the screens and that blows my bedtime out. That's just what happens. So if you've got something that's so non-negotiable that if it gets disrupted, that you get the shits, you blame people and that you're annoyed and that everything's just ruined, get used to it. That's part of the process, right? And now particularly at a time when you may be recovering from or suffering from that acute personal crisis or that sort of internal conflict, that can be a very difficult thing to deal with because you're like, well, this thing that I'm going through it takes primacy over everything. I have to take care of myself because there might be thoughts of suicide in there. And in your mind, you're like, that's the most important thing in the world. I cannot deviate from this thing because to you, the stakes are so fucking high, right? But I remember after the funeral of one of my friends and the little curtain thing closed right at the end and a friend's dad said, and life goes on. And it was so profound to me, and that was in 2007. He said, life goes on. And I remember driving home from the funeral going, holy fuck, no one else cares, right? They don't know. They're just living their life. That's what happens. It keeps going on. And that's something that's taken me a long time to really absorb properly. And it's sometimes I've experienced it and it's hurt a lot. Things that I thought were so important to me that were non-negotiable either didn't matter or they just weren't in the wheelhouse of other people, or the world just keeps turning and life happens and you can't be so non-negotiable that you plow through things. Now, coming from the world that I come from and probably the world that you come from, whether it's the military, whether it's the police or, you're an ambo or a fiery, the job you do is non-negotiable, right? The outcomes that you have to save lives, to take the life of the enemy, to help people, to put out fires, they are non-negotiable. And other things get crushed in the pursuit of those goals. So you've taken that mentality, that work mentality for those things that are so important and you apply it to your own life, right? Now, there is nothing wrong with having hard and fast rules and goals and non-negotiable things in your life. But just be prepared to negotiate on those non-negotiables and to compromise on those rules that cannot be compromised, because that is what life is. And you've got to get used to the fact that things are going to change. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that everything's fucked and you give up and there's no point. It doesn't mean that everyone hates you, no one cares. That's just the reality of living on planet Earth. So you're going to have to get used to it. It stings, I understand that. But when it happens, express that emotion. You're allowed to be annoyed, that's totally fine. But then accept that's what happens.